promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action. Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you the opportunity and resources you need to turn your content into reality. We offer memberships with access to equipment and use of our in-studio setup to allow you to get your message across in a professional manner. Or if you simply have the desire to gain hands-on experience in the field of digital media, you can become a volunteer at Milford TV, where we teach essential skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews, to sports coverage, to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action. Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you the opportunity and resources you need to turn your content into reality. We offer memberships with access to equipment and use of our in-studio setup to allow you to get your message across in a professional manner. Or if you simply have the desire to gain hands-on experience in the field of digital media, you can become a volunteer at Milford TV, where we teach essential skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews, to sports coverage, to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action. Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you the opportunity and resources you need to turn your content into reality. We offer memberships with access to equipment and use of our in-studio setup to allow you to get your message across in a professional manner. Or if you simply have the desire to gain hands-on experience in the field of digital media, you can become a volunteer at Milford TV, where we teach essential skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews, to sports coverage, to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action. Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you the opportunity and resources you need to turn your content into reality. We offer memberships with access to equipment and use of our in-studio setup to allow you to get your message across in a professional manner. Or if you simply have the desire to gain hands-on experience in the field of digital media, you can become a volunteer at Milford TV, where we teach essential skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews, to sports coverage, to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action. Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you the opportunity and resources you need to turn your content into reality. We offer memberships with access to equipment and use of our in-studio setup to allow you to get your message across in a professional manner. Or if you simply have the desire to gain hands-on experience in the field of digital media, you can become a volunteer at Milford TV, where we teach essential skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews, to sports coverage, to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, coverage of our Scarlet Hawks athletics on Milford TV is brought to you by the following sponsors. Our presenting sponsor, the Rentschler Flatbread Company, a casual American dining experience with locations in Hudson and on Main Street here in Milford. Rentschler Biopharma, sponsor of our broadcast booth. Rentschler Biopharma transforms innovative ideas into life-saving biopharmaceuticals. Rentschler Biopharma, reliability you can trust. And Unibank, big bank know-how, community bank attitude, serving the Milford community at their local branch on Prospect Street inside the Shaw's Plaza.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome inside the athletic fields here at Milford High School, as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Rail Trail Flatbread Company is a casual American dining experience. They specialize in an all-scratch-made kitchen featuring wood-fired flatbreads. It's an inviting atmosphere for the whole family to enjoy. You can head down to their Milford location on Main Street. You can also check them out in Hudson, Massachusetts. Milford TV Executive Director Tim Coed, happy to be once again with you on the call as we close out this week in the fall sports season. We're here on a Friday night, but it is not the football team on the field here on this Friday night. It is the Milford boys soccer team as they get set to face off against one of their good non-conference rivals in the Medway Mustangs. We bring you this action live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. Rentschler Biopharma is a global contract development and manufacturing organization. They specialize in biopharmaceuticals and advanced therapies. Rentschler Biopharma, reliability you can trust. Milford continuing to operate here at home in the midst of a three-match home streak in which we'll have all three matches covered for you here on Milford TV. They dueled to a tough 2-2 tie against the Stoughton Black Knights on Wednesday of this week, and now finishing out the week against this Medway Mustangs team. Milford comes into action right now tied for first place in the Kelly Rex Division standings in the Hockomock League They are 2-1-1 overall on the season. Medway right now finds himself in 4th place in their division inside the Tri-Valley League. They are 1-2-1 overall on the season. And just about set to get this game started. Still a little bit of sunlight splashing across the turf field here. Nice, comfortable conditions for the game. It was up around the mid-70s as we were getting set up here at the turf field for this action tonight. And just getting a few final details situated down at field level. Right now, the Medway coaching staff out for a quick interaction with their goalkeeper. It is Trevor Smith, the junior, who will throw on the penny before we get started. And now we get started. Goalkeeper for Milford tonight is Victor Dos Santos, so we'll get a look at another one of the keepers on Milford's squad this season after seeing a solid performance out of Yuri Diaz on Wednesday. Milford attacking from right to left across your screens here in first half action, coming out with a lot of energy here as they pop up a chance over the Medway net and out of play. This team would love to play from ahead. They've been needing to come from behind in their last couple of matches, had to overcome a 2-1 deficit against the Sharon Eagles on Monday, and then had to come back from a 2-0 deficit here at home on Wednesday against Stoughton to ultimately play for the tie. Spinning that last chance across the goal mouth and then out of play along the far sideline for a Mustangs goal kick. I believe this is the first opportunity that we have had to cover this Milford-Medway rivalry on the boys soccer field. This has been a fixture on the schedules for these two teams going back to the 2021 season. They've played each other every single year since then. And it's generally been a successful game for the Medway side. We'll dig into some more of the particulars on that as this match goes along. The Mustangs now trying to get organized over the middle. This ball just does stay in play along the far sidelines, picked up eventually by Medway, trying to lift a pass over Milford's head. The Hawks will play it back to their keeper, so here's the first touch of the game for Victor Dos Santos. Sophomore, as part of this new look goalkeeping tandem for Milford this season. Toss back in play along the far sideline. Just over 2 minutes in to this first half action. We're so happy to have everyone checking out the coverage tonight, whether you might be tuned in locally on our Milford TV educational channel, our Verizon high definition channel, or if you're streaming the action on our YouTube channel, whether you're a Medway fan or a Milford fan. As always, happy to have everyone joining us on the coverage. Had a chance to exchange some emails with the Medway head coach, Chris Borden, who's in his 6th season at the helm of this Medway boys soccer program. Really appreciative of Coach Borden for sending over some information on his team. A little banged up coming into this matchup, but still expecting to be competitive. Said he really likes having this matchup with Milford on his schedule every season, that playing a tough team like Milford, the environment that always exists when these two teams come together, it only helps make his program better. And meanwhile, on the Milford side, it is assistant coach Mike De Silva who is running the ship tonight. Head coach Antonio Pinto is away from the team today. But as we understand it, Coach Pinto may have an opportunity to keep an eye on the action here via our Milford TV coverage over the course of the evening. So Hopefully Coach Pinto likes what he sees with the effort out of his team. I know at times Coach Pinto was frustrated, feeling like there wasn't enough purpose out on the field in that match against Stoughton on Wednesday. It has felt like a good sense of urgency, a good energy out of this team here in the opening stretch, coming up on the first 5 minutes in to this first half. Medway trying to carry it over the middle. Danny De Silva there to break things up. This will spin to the far sideline and out of play. And perhaps some Scarlet Hawks athletics fans with their attention diverted a bit here tonight. We're happy to be perhaps the prelude to some other sports watching that Milford fans will be doing tonight, as of course the football team is on the road taking on a very tough Leominster team tonight, and a game that Milford we know wants very badly. And that game kicking off at O'Doyle Field at 7 o'clock tonight. So we're happy to have all of the Milford fans with us for now, and no doubt Leominster's cable access has some viewing options for that football game as well. So you can always stream one on your computer, one on your phone. Stick with us for the duration of this boys soccer matchup tonight. Milford with a good job sending this ball right back in for Ribeiro. Keeper comes out a long way. Ribeiro able to get it past him, but sends it just up over the crossbar. Good looking opportunity there, and excellent communication as always between De Silva and Ribeiro. It was an absolutely perfect pass from De Silva. Set up Ribeiro well. He just could not finish off the chance, but certainly a good look for Milford to have early in this game. On the far sideline now, Medway trying to counter. And nice job there by Marco De Silva. Got a foot in there to break up that pass. Milford's defense able to keep it on the playing surface, and now releasing this ball out past the midfield line. Ribeiro couldn't quite settle it down, and now it's dumped back in by Mustangs number 31. That's Thomas Stoltz, the senior. Captains on this Medway team: Kevin Moreau wearing number 2, Alex Scott wearing number 9, Pedro Barbosa wearing number 10, and Connor Levasseur wearing number 13. Milford on the move here, and then the pass quickly intercepted by one of those captains, the junior Kevin Moreau. Pushing it to the middle for Oliver Gray. And then a hop over the center line where the Milford defense led by Gianelli Cassine trying to get this restarted for Milford. And now a hard boot up the far sideline. This is going to stay in play. Medway tries to settle it with Aaron Simon, another junior. And eventually the toss back in for the Scarlet Hawks. And now this pass going a long way, but a little too eager there. Mateus de Jesus got a step. Gets whistled for the offsides. This boys team definitely left frustrated after that match against Stoughton on Wednesday. They had staged a second half comeback. Penalty shot goal from Mikey Moreira, a goal in the later stages by Danny De Silva to tie the match up. Looked like they had perhaps one more late push in them, but it was a game that got more and more physical as the match went along, and some extracurricular pushing and shoving in stoppage time led to the officials whistling the end of the match, preventing what could have been one final look at the Stoughton net to try to get a game winner. And so instead of 2 points, Milford settled for the 1. But still in a tie for first place in the Kelly Rex division. And that is with Attleboro, who also has 5 points. They're 2-0-1 overall on the season. Milford and Attleboro will square off here on the Milford turf next week in a game that we will have covered for you live here on Milford TV. Hey, 31 minutes and 23 seconds on the first half clock here at the turf. Scoreless so far between these two non-conference foes. Quick to intercept that ball was Mikey Marrero. Mikey Marrera, excuse me. Yes. Now Milford will deflect this ball back down the far sideline, stays in. I think for a moment there, Medway assumed that ball was going to roll out, but instead had to come back to play the ball. Now getting a good bounce here past DeJesus, and now along the near sideline as Medway continues their attack. That ball moving just out of the reach of Stoltz as he crossed back towards the middle. But Medway regroups. And now this ball dumped along deep again for Stoltz. And deflected out of play. It will be Milford who will toss it in. Defense will look to get things started. And now a long way here for Ribeiro, trying to stop his progress now and curl back around. The defense pokes this ball away and denies the corner as they send that out shy of the goal line. Milford will have the toss in as we're now past the first 10-minute mark in this first half. Milford trying to center this ball up. Medway deflects it away. Marrera keeps it in on the near sideline. Back out to Marco Da Silva. Marrera now deflects that ball out off of the Mustangs. And into Da Silva, tries to use the chest to settle this ball down, and then a whistle. Milford's going to be called for another offsides. I beg your pardon, that would look to be the initial call, but I stand corrected. We'll have a free kick here. Originally setting up just at the edge of the box, now maybe about 2 or 3 yards outside the box in the near corner. And now pushed back a few yards more as the officials using the whistles to emphasize the correct ball placement. Now Milford sends this kick in, and it's a hard deflection that ends up in the back of the net for a score. Milford uses the header to redirect, so despite that ball getting repositioned a little further back, able to get the job done. And so it looked to be Enrique Lopes celebrating that goal for Milford. Hard to tell from up here in the box through all that traffic. We'll try to rewind on the live stream to try to get a better look at it. That's certainly where the celebration came from. It looks close between Lopes and also Ribeiro. But it looks like they'll award the goal to Enrique Lopes. So that gives Milford the lead, so they are able to play from in front here tonight. Scoring that goal at the 28:34 mark of this first half. Milford dumping right back in again. Defense able to get here. Daniel Antunes, sophomore defender, but DeJesus comes in. Regains possession for Milford. Now it's Ribeiro losing footing. And a quick counter the other way for the Mustangs. Milford takes right back over again. It's Da Silva across the middle, spins a pass. Marco Da Silva over to try to retrieve it, but a couple of Mustangs intervene. Milford wins it back. The goal scorer now dumps this one down the near sideline. Ribeiro makes sure he stays on sides, and now it's Medway's Jacob Salucci who will push out a play for a Milford toss-in. Mateus De Jesus to toss in for the Hawks. Milford will push it hard back to the defense. Kyle Martins up the near sideline now, trying to dangle that one in front for either Marco Da Silva or Brian Ribeiro, but again, it's Medway that will push out a play. Milford clearly has Medway back on their heels now after the goal score. A little over 25 minutes remaining in the first half. A 1-0 lead now for the Scarlet Hawks, looking for their third victory of this still relatively young fall sports season. Already 6 games under our belt for this regular season, and 7 including the final football scrimmage of the preseason. So we have been able to immerse ourselves quite a bit amongst these fall sports teams in just now 2 weeks of fall sports action. As this whistle goes against Medway, setting up an intriguing free kick here for the Scarlet Hawks, to be taken by Ribeiro. Good energy from the sidelines for Milford in this one so far, so a lot of positive energy for the Scarlet Hawks in this game so far. Line drive shot from Ribeiro right into the midsection of Trevor Smith. He's able to make the save. Only reason I can imagine that they would ask Smith to put the penny on is that perhaps the orange of his keeper jersey may be too close of a shade to the Milford red uniforms. Milford breaking things up quickly here. Now Da Silva off to the races, but Smith will step out to the edge of the box to get the partial clear, but Ribeiro will bring this ball right back in. No whistle as Ribeiro again tumbles to the turf. And now it's the contact right at the center logo that will draw the whistle from this officiating crew, giving the Mustangs a free kick right at the center of the field with 22:43 on this first half clock. It's kicked deep inside the box. Milford whiffs on a clear attempt. Now they're able to get it out at least partially. Medway now driving towards the far side. That looks to be Gonzalez who gets dragged down to the turf. And that does not go unnoticed by the officiating crew. Now this kick way down the field and an easy grab for Smith. And perhaps stepping beyond the boundary line there was Smith, as they give, and you can see, yes, on the having a chance to get a second look at it. He, I think, initially caught it within the box, but then took a step forward, brought himself outside, and that drew the whistle. And so Milford with a free kick just outside the edge of the box. And again, it will be Ribeiro, it appears, that will take the kick. And meanwhile, Coach De Silva wants to talk things over before the kick, so he calls timeout, and that will keep the clock paused at 21 minutes and 52 seconds to go. So a goal a little less than 12 minutes into this first quarter by Enrique Lopes, giving Milford a 1-0 lead, looking to build on that lead here with a free kick opportunity at close range. And something that Coach De Silva did not like about the way that Milford was lining up for that kick, or perhaps seeing something in the look that Medway was giving that made him want to talk things over with his team. And so the conversation concludes. And so we'll see if the extra strategy time pays off here for Milford as they retake the field. The Mustangs now follow suit. The full coaching complement for Medway. It's Chris Borden, the head coach in his 6th season. Michael Hansen, the assistant coach in his 5th season, and the JV coach for Medway is Jason Weintraub. He's in his 3rd season. So we reset now for the free kick. Again, it's instead a little short kick from Ribeiro to set up the blast from Guy Quaresma, and he sends it rocketing off the crossbar. It was a good play drawn up by Coach De Silva. Quaresma with a missile that was maybe about a foot too high, almost fracturing the crossbar with that velocity. And now here's De Jesus getting free up the near sideline, and that will go out of play, I believe, for a corner kick for Milford. First corner kick for either side in this game. Corner kicks were dangerous for Milford for their opponent on Wednesday. Stoughton scored both of their goals off of corner kicks. And this ball was deflected, it appeared, by the goalkeeper Smith. And regardless, whistle going against the Scarlet Hawks. A little bit of an adjustment on the net placement on the Medway end before we continue. And this ball shanked over towards the near sideline gives Ribeiro a chance to come in and steal it back. Now it's De Jesus who plays it back to Moreira, and Moreira now goes in the wrong direction. And so Milford trying to pounce on a little bit of a gaff there from the Mustangs keeper, but now everyone resets. This ball does sneak through. De Jesus will give chase. Can he save it? No, that went out of bounds. Does still set up for a Milford toss-in. The Mustangs trying to log some time out of their defensive end of the field. Milford has had an extended stay here on their attacking side over the last several minutes, and now some contact right in front of the Medway bench that was initiated by Thomas Stoltz. Milford a little slow to get up. It was Enrique Lopes, but eventually does get back to his feet and looks to be just fine. And This ball looped in, and the header is going to drift over the Mustangs' net and out of play. Milford controlling the pace of play here as we get deeper into this half. 18:55 on the first half clock. A lot of opportunities here in this last several minutes, all of them from Milford. Virtually nothing happening in front of Victor Dos Santos. Continues to stay alert as he prowls outside the Milford net. This ball off the hands of the keeper. Will this roll in? And yes, it does. And then some clutching and grabbing after the goal goes in by Medway. Milford trying to keep their cool. Now a lot of extra bodies coming on the scene, and the officials trying to put a quick end to the situation. So things getting hot here on the Milford pitch once again. A rebound chance let out by Smith to give Danny De Silva the chance to redirect that ball in, put just enough on that to get it across the goal line for the score. And meanwhile, we get a yellow card issued to Medway for the extracurriculars after that play. And so that yellow card issued to Tate Logan, the junior, who will now come to the sideline. And so it appears now, listening in, now that the dust is settled, that Brian Ribeiro also received a yellow card. So both sides now with personnel on the sideline. And you can see right now the body language from Coach De Silva urging everyone to keep their composure out on the field. So the goal does stand. It will be a goal for Danny De Silva that gives Milford now a 2-0 lead. You could see Athletic Director Peter Boucher out on the field helping to restore order. Still a long way to go in this game for tensions to be running this high. You can understand the frustration perhaps brewing a bit there on the Medway side, as again, they had been back on their heels defensively for a long stretch, ultimately resulting in the goal. Milford getting a shot in that was initially saved by Trevor Smith, but allowed that rebound chance to leak out. De Silva was there and able to make the play. And then the pushing and shoving ensuing from there. But right now, back to the task at hand. Right now, Ribeiro seated on the bench. Both players still on the sidelines here with 17 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the first half. And a free kick from just past the Milford bench for the Mustangs, and sure hands for Victor Dos Santos, who again has been all alone on this side of the field for quite some time, but razor sharp there on that play. A blast up field here. It keeps Milford on sides. Keeper steps out of the box, clears that ball, and it goes out of play. Milford will have the toss. I'll leave it for the captain, Mike Gonzalez, who gets it into one of his fellow captains, Danny De Silva. Silva winning it back, pushes to the middle, and then this shot sprawled out to make the stop with Smith, but again, he couldn't hang on. So that ball spins out of play and will be a corner kick here for the Scarlet Hawks. And that ball was well wide to the near side of the net. Smith could have easily let that ball go. Now swats at this one with the mitt, gets the clear. A nifty little backward pass for Milford, but nobody home. And again, Trevor Smith able to pick this ball up, rolls it out the short way towards Oliver Gray. And now DeJesus surveying his options, gets it ahead to Danny De Silva, but a little too far out in front for Danny that time. Ticking down to the final 15 minutes of this first half. A 2-0 Milford lead. Good footwork over the middle by Lopes. And again, De Silva called for an offsides. Coach De Silva with a very no-nonsense approach, wanting to keep his team focused here with the 2-goal lead. So a nice job running things here tonight in the absence of head coach Antonio Pinto, who will return to the program after this one here tonight, keeping close tabs on things in the meantime as he is away from the field tonight. Short pass, finding Marco. Through a crowd trying to stay with it. A little extra shove for Mikey Moreira. And now shoves exchanged, so the temperature of this game still simmering. It was initially Kevin Moreau, the captain for Medway, that gave Mikey a little extra shove, and then Moreira ended up returning the favor to, I believe, it was Daniel Antunes. This is a Milford team that at times can wear their emotions on their sleeve. Deep ball here. Milford makes a concerted effort to keep it on sides. Here's Marco again, gets his pocket picked. And again, you can hear no fouls, the mantra from the sideline, as the feet get tangled up. And again, you can see that was Thomas Stoltz getting right in Moreira's face after that ball deflected out of play. Just feeling like we have not seen the last of the fireworks between these two teams tonight. Along the far sideline now, this ball goes out of play. Substitution coming in now for the Mustangs. Tristan Thompson onto the field for Medway. And it looks like at the next opportunity we will see a return for Brian Ribeiro, who has been on the sideline since receiving that yellow card. And so Ribeiro now returns to action. He'll give Mateus de Jesus arrest with just over 11 minutes to go in this first half. Great effort in this one so far for De Jesus. Gets a pat on the back from the coaching staff. Milford to the far corner. Can they center this up? Going out to get it. I believe that was Marco again, who's been right in the thick of things here over this last couple of minutes since that ball out of play. But Milford keeping the pressure on with the 2-goal lead. Morera pushes back to the middle. And a deflection out of play off of the Medway header. Kyle Martins with the toss in. This ball leaks out, and this time it will be the Mustangs with the toss. Ten minutes to go in the first half. Quaresma over towards the far side, now through all the way to Ribeiro. Couldn't get enough acceleration before Antunes came on the scene to dump that ball. And now sent away by Trevor Smith, who again came very close to stepping out of the box. The toe of his cleats just barely staying inside that yellow line. Already gotten whistled for that once. Milford looking for options. Now the long toss down the near sidelines, and amazing control for Brian Ribeiro to be able to continue to progress that ball further down the near sideline. So skilled. This defense trying to get another push started, and Milford with multiple bodies, very much offsides. This is an attack with so much speed that it's easy for these offsides plays to happen. Need to find that precise timing for when to start that acceleration. Under 8 minutes to go in the half now. Yes. Milford looks to make the toss, and Mikey will give way here to Martins. Martins sneaks free, tries to center this ball up, and it takes an effort from Isaac Bento, the sophomore defender, to direct that ball out of play. That'll give Milford another corner kick. All of the corner kicks have been from Milford in this half. This is their third. They go the short route to Morera, who gets tripped up. So Mikey Morera with a free kick. Curls this one in to the center of the net, where it's held on to by Trevor Smith. Out of play. Milford will toss it back in. Players waiting to sub back in for this final stretch for Medway, including Tate Logan who was the other yellow card recipient earlier in this half. Hard contact as players went up for that ball. No whistle, just hard contact in the pace of play. I think that was De Silva, but able to get right back to his feet. The subs come in now for the Mustangs. See if there's any lingering animosity between Logan and Ribeiro as the two now are back out on the field together. Ribeiro trying to steal that ball away. Stays with Medway. It'll come all the way over towards the near sideline for Antunes. Broken up by Milford. Now it's Danny De Silva with a chance to pick up a head of steam. Crosses to the middle and now dumps to the corner. And there is the speed for Ribeiro. Keeps it in momentarily, but just could not regain his balance, and that ball dribbles over the end line. It was amazing closing speed for Ribeiro that allowed him to keep that ball in play initially, but just had so much momentum pushing him forward that he just could not regain his balance in time for a centering pass. It's up for grabs inside the center circle. Milford will push back and start it up with Cassine, who goes over to the near sideline and all the way down. Now a chance for Ribeiro again, trying to get past a defender. Still sticking with it. Tough one-on-one battle there, and now finally help arrives, and it is Tate Logan, and you could see a little bit of an extra shove at the end of the play. This time the officials let it go. So if there was any question as to whether those two would remember each other as the match went on, there's your answer. Now Marco along the near sideline along with Mikey Moreira. Moreira will get a centering pass, and Medway able to get a foot on it. Now this ball comes in again with pace, but it is deflected wide to the far side. And Milford lobbying for a corner kick. And apparently the official saying that Trevor Smith didn't touch that ball as it went past him. They might be right. Getting a second look at it on our live stream. Less than 3 minutes now remain in the first half. And here comes De Silva all the way in alone, tried to hop over the keeper and keep that possession going, but Medway breaks it up. Terrific speed for Danny De Silva. And right now, a lot of effort on the defensive side for Medway to keep this score at a 2-0 deficit. Another one will come back deep, picked up by Smith. Moreira pressuring. Moreau goes from near side to far side as Milford continues to pester. This will take us down to the 2-minute mark. Tight defense along the far sideline. And then some extra clutching there for the Mustangs, drawing the whistle. Lights on here at the turf field as now the sun has traveled down below the tree line. As this ball comes in, it's deflected out with the body of the Medway keeper, and now too much contact on the Milford side. Getting our last dose of sunset times around 7 p.m. As of next week, it'll all be on the wrong side of 7 o'clock for the sunset. The day's really getting shorter now as we get further now towards the official start of fall. Already, of course, feeling like fall once the calendar flips to September. Maybe about a minute to go out there. Final stretch of this first half. Dumped down by Milford. De Silva and Ribeiro close in. Over to the near sideline and out of play. Looks like the officials ready to whistle the end of this half. And so there it is. Quality half of play overall for the Scarlet Hawks. They got the goal early on by Enrique Lopes. Attack on by Danny De Silva to make it 2-0. Yellow cards in that first half for the Mustangs' Tate Logan and for the Scarlet Hawks' Brian Ribeiro. But overall, Milford with a good solid half of soccer. They'll look to just continue to keep that effort level up in the second half. We're about 9.5 minutes away from the start of the second half, so if you're joining us on the live coverage, we'll step away from the commentary briefly, but do not go anywhere as we bring you all of the action live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth with a 2-0 lead for Milford over Medway. This is a presentation of Scarlet Hawks Athletics here on Milford TV, presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics on Milford TV is brought to you in part by Unibank, big bank know-how, community bank attitude, serving the Milford community at their local branch on Prospect Street inside the Shaw's Plaza. Coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics is also brought to you in part by Rentschler Biopharma. They are the proud sponsor of our broadcast booth. Together with their partners, Rentschler Biopharma transforms innovative ideas into life-saving biopharmaceuticals. Rentschler Biopharma, reliability you can trust. And of course, coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics on Milford TV is presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Rail Trail just a few days away now from officially unveiling their new fall menu, which promises to have all kinds of good stuff, along with everybody's staple favorites. Meanwhile, they have a brand new brunch menu that drops tomorrow. Fall brunch menu launches at both Milford and Hudson locations. It's available from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Just a couple of previews of the items on that fall brunch menu: tres leches pancakes, peanut butter brownie pancake, tiramisu pancakes, apple streusel French toast, and steak Benedict. If that doesn't get you out of bed on a Saturday, I don't know what does, so make sure you check out that new fall brunch, again at both the Milford and Hudson Rail Trail locations. Milford now attacking from left to right across your screens as we settle into second half action. An early shot that is dealt wide to the far sideline, taken by Brian Ribeiro. Milford leading this game by a score of 2-0. Looking for their third victory on the season, right now in a tie for first place in the Kelly Rex division of the Hockomock League. Medway, as we mentioned, operates out of the Tri-Valley League in the TVL Small Division, which they share with Bellingham, Norton, Dover, Sherborne, and Medfield. Medway currently in fourth place in those TVL Small standings with a 1-2-1 record. Their one victory on the season came back on September 8th against Dedham. Had a couple of tough losses out of the gates, including a 6-0 loss in their season opener against Dover Sherborne, as Milford deals this ball deep down into the corner. So we'll get our full focus back on the field as this ball deflects in. Medway desperate to clear it out, but here's De Silva trying to find an open target over on the far side of the field. Looked like Mateus de Jesus, who maybe got his leg contacted as he tried to settle that elevated ball. Looks to be all right as Ribeiro was ready to unleash a shot from distance, but Medway able to deflect it. And now Milford will regroup with their defense. There has been very, very little in the way of offensive chances for the Mustangs in this match. Milford has been in control. The slide here brings this ball over to the feet of Danny De Silva. He crosses, and now this ball will leak back and all the way out to the middle of the field. So just to finish the point on the season so far for the Mustangs, a 6-0 loss to Dover Sherborne, followed by a 4-2 defeat on the road at the hands of the Bellingham Blackhawks before they picked up their first win of the season against Dedham, and then they tied in their most recent match. That was at home against Norton. Medway now in the midst of a 3-match road trip that will take them here to Milford, and then to Medfield, and then to Holliston before they return home later this month on the 22nd. In the opening 5 minutes of the second half, Milford pressuring once again. This ball deflecting towards Brian Ribeiro, who gets contacted by Kevin Moreau. And this will lead to a free kick. Moreau frustrated, but the contact was clear. Lopes and Moreira. Looks like it will be Enrique Lopes, who will take the kick, keeps it low, and this time no rebound leaking out from Trevor Smith. That was how Milford ultimately scored their second goal in the first half on a shot attempt that came in. Trevor Smith able to make the save, but allowed a rebound chance out that was redirected in by Danny Da Silva with just enough on it to spin it into the net to give the Scarlet Hawks the 2-0 lead that they currently possess. But still a long way to go in this one. And a steal here for Moreira. Looked like he had a little tug of the arm to slow his progress that got past the officials. As this ball now comes to the far sideline and dips out of play. Toss in here for the Scarlet Hawks. Milford a little self-pass deep into the corner now, trying to center up. And Mike Gonzalez now with a quick feed for Brian Ribeiro, who lets it fly in towards the keeper, but Smith able to make the save. And now Medway looking for a rare chance the other way. They will get a shot in on net. Gonzalez doing a good job staying step for step with Cooper Bartha, who released that shot, and Victor Dos Santos able to make the save. Now Da Silva moves this ball along, tries to go get it himself. Keeps it in along the near sideline, looking for options, buying time, and now a slide from Tate Logan. Logan with a yellow card received in the first half. Matching yellow card going to Milford's Brian Ribeiro as the two mixed it up after the Da Silva goal. Milford now with a corner kick, their first of this half. This gets past everyone, and Medway with an easy clear. Action should just be kicking off now over at Leominster High School for that Week 2 football matchup for the Scarlet Hawks. See if we can get any kind of early updates on that game with the time we have remaining here. About 32 and a half minutes remaining in the second half. Milford with play along the far sideline. And now a chance to toss back in. They'll leave it for Mateus de Jesus. Deflected and then cleaned out by the Mustangs. Little poke forward from Cassine. Now it's Mikey who will feed Gonzalez. Gets it right back to Morera. Tries to center it up. Could not get that to anyone in particular. Now picked up by Moreau for Medway. Wanting the quick toss in, but instead we'll get some Mustang substitutions first. The football team will be on the road again next week, traveling to, I believe, Barnstable before they return home for week 4, in which they will host the Natick Redhawks as they go strictly non-conference through the opening weeks of their season. Milford will push this ball all the way back to Dos Santos. Releases it straight up the middle of the field. De Silva cannot quite get there. And so the Mustangs try to push forward, but now Milford with a quick strike ahead to De Silva, trying to get clear of a defender, and now loses control of the ball, and a near open look for Danny De Silva, but good defensive work that time for Tate Logan. And now a takedown, and they're going to say that it was Milford that initiated the contact. A lot of groans on the sidelines. Hard to imagine how it was Milford that initiated that contact when De Silva's back was to the Medway defender. He got pulled down from behind, but somehow the whistle going against the Scarlet Hawks. But regardless, Milford jumps right back on the attack. Here's De Silva knifing through a couple of defenders. Now we'll get this pass back. Dumps it off of a Medway player. The Mustangs desperate for a clear, but this will spin to the far side of the field and go out of play. Milford will toss it back in. Mustangs now with a toss along the far sideline. 28.5 minutes to go in the second half. It remains a 2-0 lead for Milford. Medway has yet to really challenge on their attacking side. Had one shot on net in this half so far. That was a very standard save for Dos Santos. Marco pushing down to the far sideline, picked up by De Jesus, and then clipped out of play by the Mustangs. And now a slide far out for Trevor Smith. Goes into traffic to secure that ball. Now Gonzalez. Mikey Morera touch pass to De Silva, who finds Brian Ribeiro, now trying to get it back to De Silva. But Medway able to sniff that out. Now down the near sideline, Gonzalez can't angle that ball in play. And that whistle against Lopes. Eventually a Medway player will wander over here to make the kick. Looks like it will be Logan. Milford with the height advantage to get that header back out. But Medway able to regroup. And this ball continues to move in deeper, and now a sprawling play for Victor Dos Santos. He's able to deflect that ball out of play. It was tough to tell from up here in the box if that ball would have gone wide regardless, but Dos Santos not taking the chance, and so for the first time all night, the Mustangs will have a corner kick. Dos Santos pumped up after making that stop. Corner coming in from the far side, and this will bend its way all the way in for the score. And so that looked to be Thomas Stoltz, number 31, unassisted from the corner, able to bend that ball in. Tremendous accuracy. No chance for Dos Santos to make the stop, so Medway's on the board here, and all of a sudden cuts the Milford lead in half. It's 2-1 with still a lot of time to go. And so we'll see if that breathes new life into the Mustangs here. As we just mentioned, scoring opportunities have really been at a premium for Medway throughout this game, but maximizing the chance there on their very first corner kick. And so if there's one thing that Milford may make as a point of emphasis in future practices, it's going to be defending those corner kicks. They've now allowed 3 goals off of corner kicks in their last 2 games. A lot more verbal communication amongst the Mustangs players now after that goal was scored. You can just see very different energy from this Mustangs team now. All the bench players up on their feet. As Milford drops this ball in deep, Ribeiro let that ball get away from him. Mikey now with a push to the corner. It's picked up there. Back to Morera, and now it's Ribeiro who tried to set up to Jesus for the one-timer, but he couldn't settle it. But instead, Milford now will have a chance to counter with a corner kick of their own. And right into the hands of Smith. And a good lead out in front for Pedro Barbosa. The ball ends up going out of play. Starting to feel a little bit of a momentum shift in this game. Maybe just a slight drop in the level for Milford, and certainly now the Mustangs fully engaged. As Logan will toss this ball in just to the left of the Mustangs bench. Long toss. And Milford is able to clear it out. And certainly some reason overall for the Mustangs to feel a certain level of confidence in this matchup. Overall, the Mustangs have gotten the better of Milford since these teams have started these annual non-conference matchups, leading the head-to-head meetings with a record of 2-1-1. Last season, With the action at Medway High School, these teams dueled to a 1-1 draw. Prior to that, in 2023, it was Medway with a 2-1 victory. In 2022, in a higher scoring game, Medway was able to defeat Milford 4-3, as here comes Ribeiro running out of real estate, keeps this ball in, tries to center it up, but a good defensive play by Medway's Jacob Salucci. And so the only win for Milford in this head-to-head matchup came in their inaugural meeting with each other back in 2021. That was a 3-0 win for Milford. But since then, the Mustangs have given Milford all they can handle. And after this game had looked really one-sided for the first half, and for about 15 minutes into the second half, all of a sudden now it feels quite different. As Smith yanks that toss all the way out of play along the near sidelines, and so now Milford will have a chance to send it back in. Over the middle for Lopes. He'll push back to the defense. So far, no updates that we've been able to find from the football action up in Leominster. Milford certainly expected to be the underdogs in that matchup. The seasoned, experienced quarterback under center for Leominster. Very talented team, top to bottom. And Milford with a good effort in that week 1 win, but certainly the level of competition is going to ratchet up quite a bit for the Scarlet Hawks this week, so it will be interesting to see how things ultimately go down in that week 2 football matchup. In the meantime, Medway here feeling a lot more under control, but here is Ribeiro with a steal and trying to sneak this one in, but a stop made by the keeper, and also credit Jacob Salucci, who was able to stay close and prevent an easy look for Ribeiro, as meanwhile we see a ball come screaming up into the stands. It's the second time in the last 2 home games that we've seen that happen. We're past the midway point in the second half. Only goal in the period so far belongs to Medway, but we'll see what happens here with Danny De Silva. Does he have an angle? Able to come back to the middle, and Medway dumps this ball out of play. So all of a sudden, a couple of lopsided chances on the attacking side for Milford. It's taken some plus defense for Medway to keep the score where it is. As meanwhile, while that shot attempt went well up over the net through the uprights and out of play on that shot attempt for the Scarlet Hawks. And timeout called out on the field, stopping the clock with 18 minutes and 42 seconds to go. And so again, we will draw your attention to our upcoming schedule here on Milford TV for the remainder of the month of September. We have another 3 games for you coming up next week. We'll be back inside the gym on Monday evening for the girls volleyball team as they take on the Canton Bulldogs, with action starting around 5:15, and then it's more soccer action with this boys team hosting the Attleboro Bombardiers coming up on Tuesday at 4 o'clock next week. We will have that coverage live. And then it's back to the girls on Thursday as they return home to take on their Canton counterparts with a 4 o'clock start again on Thursday the 18th. So 3 more games on tap for you next week, All of those will be carried live across all of our Milford TV platforms, locally on our educational channel and our Verizon HD channel. And you can stream the action live on YouTube. And, of course, if you do miss the live coverage on YouTube, all of the games are available in their entirety immediately following the live action. So you can rewatch the games anytime. So you can just head over to youtube.com/MyMilfordTV, and we encourage you to become a subscriber to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our content. Ribeiro over the middle here. And now dumped in deep for De Silva. And that goal will not count, as De Silva was offsides and had the fans on their feet, but the whistle clear before the release of that shot from De Silva, who was frustrated after. Thought he had his second of the night. Stays a 2-1 score. Now Ribeiro, with some hesitation here, finds a good pass for Mike Gonzalez, who then sends one roaring into the box. Medway able to clear it out. Now back to Mikey Moreira. Again, down the near sideline for Mike Gonzalez. Tries to cross back to the middle. Now Lopes protects and then dumps in. And an easy pull down for Smith. Enrique Lopes, goal scorer in this game, sends this ball up the far sideline. As we continue to wait eagerly for any kind of word from Doyle Field. And we encourage any of our friends who are tuning into this action on YouTube, if you happen to be streaming the game on location over at Doyle Field and you have an update for us, you can feel free to send that along in the live chat. Down to 15 and a half minutes here in this varsity boys soccer matchup. Milford holding on to a 2-1 lead. All of the Milford scoring in the first half. Medway goal coming about 14 and a half minutes into the second half. And now Milford will rifle this ball out of play just over the chain link into where a bulk of the Milford crowd is situated. Everyone able to get out of the way. Medway gathering back in here. They'll send this into the box, and a one-hop stop made by Dos Santos. We do have our first update now from Doyle Field, where Milford took the opening drive 70 yards, culminating in a Josh Buentello 1-yard touchdown run. And Milford getting a 2-point conversion to give themselves an early 8-0 lead over the Leominster Blue Devils with 7.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. So a promising start for the Scarlet Hawks on the road. Here on the soccer field, still a 2-1 lead for the home team. 13 minutes and 56 seconds on the second half clock as we get a hard collision along the near sideline. Mike Gonzalez exits the premises with Cooper Bartha down briefly on the turf. He now gets back to his feet. So fascinating getting to watch this Milford team. Such a different dynamic prior to the start of the game to while the game is going on. This team generally leading up to the start of the game, very light, a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. But once the game begins, much more intense group, very fiery. So the kick down the near sideline for the Mustangs. It rolls free, and Milford will give it a hard boot. And it'll take 2 bounces and then into the waiting hands of Trevor Smith. And the deflection out of play off of the Mustangs. And so DeJesus will send it back in, finds Lopes. And then DeJesus tries to protect here through a trio of defenders. As that ball ends up out of play as we tick down to 13 minutes to play. The deflection away from DeJesus. Moved along now by Kevin Moreau. Across the middle by number 22, Jacob Salucci. And then all the way down into the corner, but that will go off the playing surface. More strong communication from the sidelines from assistant coach Mike De Silva, who, again, has been doing the full coaching duties here tonight in the absence of head coach Antonio Pinto. Good ball moved forward. Can DeJesus get there? Instead, it's poked away by the Mustangs. And instead, might be signaling for. No, indeed, it will be a toss in for Milford. As we now move under 12 minutes to play. Only goal in the second half so far has belonged to the Medway Mustangs, who will have a chance to blast this kick downfield. A more competitive half here in the second from what we saw in the first. Medway very reactive for virtually that entire first half. Been able to have some more flashes of success here in the second half, including the goal off the corner kick. Now, meanwhile, Milford loses control here, trying to buy a whistle as Mikey Morera spun down to the turf, but not much there in the way of contact from Medway. Gonzalez with a quick toss back in to find DeJesus, who looked to try to check in on the keeper, but instead yanked that ball wide to the near side. A couple of subs come in now for the Mustangs as we approach the final 10 minutes in this match. All the way down into the corner here. It stays in play dangerously for Medway. Milford will get the goal kick. Sending it the short way over to Gianelli Cassine. And over the initial reach of Medway, but now it's Jack Williamson who will try to get it started up the near sideline. Immediately stolen back by Milford and now pushed out right by the Milford coaching staff. Coach De Silva with a mantra of no fouls, something that he repeated in the later stages of the first half. That'll no doubt become more and more of a point of emphasis here as we get down to crunch time, just over 9 minutes remaining now. Wanting to see this team play clean to the finish line. As Cassine gets repositioned before the toss-in, delivers it up ahead to Mateus de Jesus. He loses his feet. Hopes trying to pick it up from there, but instead we get the whistle. This will result in the kick for Milford. Score tightening up over in Leominster. Blue Devils able to respond with a 16-yard touchdown pass. Right now, the most up-to-date score is Milford 8 and Leominster 6. Action still in the first quarter. We'll try to keep feeding you those updates all the way to the finish line here. Still 8 minutes to go in this second half. Medway closing the gap to a single score. Milford would love to give themselves some insurance, but this ball ends up rolling free, easily picked up by Oliver Gray. And now Milford trying to settle it back down. Lopes, no look pass to De Jesus, but that took a hop out of play. Cassine with a big boot and a little bit of a bobble, but Smith able to hold on. He has not had the surest hands at times in this match. Able to hold on there. Now rolls this one back out to get it started with Gray. And now Milford again in a bit of a defensive shell, just trying to keep this ball out of their defensive end, but this one will leak down. And Cassine plays it back to Dos Santos. And a nice little bounce for Mikey Morera, but that gets away from him. Now Lopes slides this ball forward. And to Jesus back to Gonzalez. One touch pass from Morera. Now this ball dumped into the box for De Silva, but that spins out of his reach. And Smith is able to snuff out that chance for Milford. Inside of 6 minutes to play. De Jesus twists and turns right in front of his own bench, but the ball gets taken away by Kevin Moreau. And Coach De Silva asking for a timeout. And so that stops it with 5:08 to play. Very tense in this game. It was played with a lot of animosity out on the field in the first half. That has kind of cooled down for the most part here in the second half. Eventually the score tightening up. The only goal in this second half belongs to Medway, and it was number 31, Thomas Stoltz, the senior, who was able to curve a corner kick all the way in past Dos Santos for the score. And so that cut it to a 2-1 margin. We're still there now. We'll get a few more ticks off the clock here once we resume after the timeout, and then we wait for the final signal from down below. So Milford with the toss in out of the timeout, looking for Danny Da Silva. That ball ends up back out of play. Back across the middle, Brian Ribeiro trying to track this ball down. Ribeiro's been quiet in the second half. Little feed down into the corner. Gonzalez will get there, tries to center it back up, and now the deflection back to Enrique Lopes, who just takes a whack, and that ball drifts very far away from the Medway goal and out of play. Clock frozen now as we are under 5 minutes to play. Ball out of play from Medway. Gonzalez the toss into Morera. Has that ball get away. Morera right back into the action. Again, Mikey trying to turn around with this ball. Now sends it back to his D. Little pass finds Gonzalez. Now Morera will lift this ball, trying to use Da Silva's speed. And again, Danny a little too quick. Smacks himself in the head, frustrated. He's gotten a couple of those calls tonight that have negated some potential scoring chances for Milford. One of them in which Da Silva put the ball in the back of the net, but it was wiped away by an offsides call. Now Morera, nifty little header, sends this ball down. Danny with it, now has it taken away. The ball ends up out of play, and some disagreement over whose ball that was to toss back in between Danny Da Silva and Medway's Del Piero Boyones. It does end up going as a Milford toss. And then some more contact around Danny Da Silva as this ball moves down the near sideline, stays in play. And meanwhile, Mike Gonzalez a little shaken up there. He was checking the left foot. It stays out there. Ball out of play behind the Milford bench, and Medway, feeling the sense of urgency, tosses this ball back in. Aaron Simon trying to find an angle, but Milford takes it away. Here's Ribeiro. And players come together. Ball ends up out of play. That was Isaac Bento, the sophomore defender for Medway, that collided with Ribeiro, but no whistle. Like the non-call there. Not if you're on the Milford sideline. As this ball comes in and Ribeiro is called for the offside. So another thing for Milford to try to tighten up as they continue forward in this season. A lot of offsides calls. Closing sequence here in this second half. Milford has led the whole way, led by as many as 2. Mustangs with the toss in. Lopes intercepts and then headed out of play by the Medway defense. And that's the end. So Milford able to stay in control here through the finish line. Not able to tack on to the lead, but able to establish a multiple goal lead early. And they're able to come away with the victory here in this non-conference matchup. Medway once again giving Milford a good battle, as they always do. But this time it is the Scarlet Hawks who are able to come away with the win. So the Scarlet Hawks take this one tonight by a final score of 2-1. Again, all the Milford scoring in the first half, courtesy of Enrique Lopes and Danny De Silva. And the lone Medway goal coming on the corner kick from Thomas Stoltz. And solid play in net for Victor Dos Santos, who got the start tonight as well. So with the victory, Milford improves now to 3-1-1 overall on the season. Medway with the loss, they fall to 1-3-1. And so as we start to wind down on the broadcast, we'll see if we can get one more update from down in Leominster. And so the first quarter coming to an end, the score unchanged. It is still 8-6 with the Milford football team leading Leominster. So we'll see how that game continues to develop. If you're not over there in Leominster, again, you can check out to see if Leominster's cable access has any live coverage available to you. If not, you can check out Matt Siegel, who's been doing some good updates over on Twitter. You can follow him at SportsVideoMA, providing some pretty comprehensive updates over on X. So that's going to wrap things up here for tonight. A big thank you to Patrick Garapi manning the cameras on top of the press box. And I am Tim Coette. That final score, one final time here tonight. Milford defeats Medway by a final score of 2-1 as we bring you all of the action live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. And again, this has been a presentation of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. It's presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. So long, everybody.